Hey guys, welcome to the first market update of the new decade. I did make a New Year's resolution to try and get these out to you a little bit closer to the first of each month, but quite clearly that's still a work in progress, so we'll work on that. For now, I'm just going to blame Snowmageddon 2020, right? But without any further ado, let's get to the numbers. So let's start off like we normally do by taking a look at our updated market activity table. We now have a picture of all of 2019 here in front of us. I'm not going to spend too much time at the beginning of the year, but I want to focus on what's been happening since the fall. Really, September towards the end of the year has been very strong. You can see October, November, December, our months of inventory has remained level at 4.3, and that's really at the bottom end. It's right on the cusp, I should say, of a balanced market and actually a seller's market. Anything under 4 becomes a seller's market. So you can see it's been quite strong. Prices, if you look at the last row here, which shows the benchmark price, keep in mind this is for all property types, okay? So this includes the $5 million homes and the $500,000 condos, which have been quite stable for quite some time. That lower end market, especially the condo market, it's been fairly strong since the spring, really. At least balanced, I would say. And what's been bringing down those prices is that higher end market, which has still, in my opinion, hasn't really recovered at all from the levels that we were seeing. But you can see from September onwards, the benchmark price has been ticking up, which to me signifies that even that luxury market has become stabilized, and prices have been creeping up also slightly. And that all stems from, of course, the demand, the supply and demand, which is evident by the months of inventory. So as we got into that balanced market, and at the end of the year, we were like right on the cusp of a seller's market again. You can see those prices slowly starting to creep up. If we look at December specifically here, you'll notice that sales volume actually dipped down by 19.3% from where it was at in November. And you might say to yourself, well, that means that the market slowed down. Technically, yes, there was less sales volume, but that always happens in December. Everybody's busy with Christmas, and house shopping is really the last thing on a lot of people's minds in that month. So what we kind of like to gauge slower months like that at is by looking at it year over year. So if we look here at what was happening in December 2018, you'll notice that we only had 1,072 sales in all of December 2018. Last month, December 2019, we were up to 2,016 sales. That's an 88% increase year over year. So that's a significant increase in my mind. I mean, you can't ignore that. And that's following 3 months of 40+% increases year over year. So definitely strong signs that the market is in recovery mode and is picking up again. And just from a boots on the ground perspective, in terms of the sense that I'm getting out there, being in the field on a daily basis, and the sense that I get from talking to other agents is that there's a lot of pent up demand. And just to give you an example, this past weekend, I had 2 sets of clients looking at different properties. One was a 1-bedroom condo in Dunbar. The other was in Olympic Village. The one in Dunbar got 9 offers over the weekend. The one in Olympic Village got 12 offers, and 6 of them were subject free. Now you might say to yourself, well, were these like underpriced to entice this kind of bidding war? And to be honest with you, they were priced sharply, but I certainly wouldn't say that they were, well underpriced to entice that kind of activity in what would be a balanced market kind of situation. So I definitely feel like there's a lot of pent up demand from a slower year last year where everybody was kind of waiting on the sidelines to see what was going to happen. And the other factor is that we're dealing with record level low inventory right now. Like there's a lot of buyers interested in kind of getting into the market right now, and there just really isn't that much out there for us to show them. So when something good comes up, there's a lot of takers, and it's causing bidding wars to come out. And personally, I don't think that's good for anybody. It's no fun as a representative of hopeful buyers. It's stressful on all parties, to be honest with you. And then when you have a seller, then they turn into a buyer a lot of the time. And so it adds a lot of stress to all parties. So hopefully we'll see an influx of new listings as we approach the spring, and things will balance out a little bit more. One last thing I wanted to touch on here before I let you go is everything that we've been hearing in the news about BC assessments. As you've probably heard, assessments came in at the beginning of the year, and a lot of properties, a lot of homeowners saw a decrease in their assessed values by, on average, around 10%. And of course, the media has been having a field day with this because they're making it sound like house prices dropped by 10% on January 1st. And it's true. Of course, the market has slowed down, and that has affected prices, and prices have come down. You know, in the high-end market, it's been a lot more than 10%. Those properties that are over 2 million, for example. But it didn't happen overnight, and this is old news at the end of the day. This data is from the end of June last year. And if we look at the home price index here, you'll notice that prices actually for the last 6 months at least since that time have actually been quite stable. So this has been this was news in July, or during the spring, about how much prices have come down. But if you look at this chart here, this actually shows what the HPI, the home price index, was for all properties in Greater Vancouver as of June 2019, and you can see that it's sitting at 998,700. Skip ahead to December 2019, and you can see that the home price index actually went up to just over $1 million. And so, there's this panic that there was a 10% drop in property values, and you can see where that was. That was well past 12 months ago that was happening. And since that data was gathered for BC assessments, prices have actually increased, as you can see here, by 0.3%. Now, look, I'm not one to be bullish on the market all the time. I just like to report on the numbers as I see them, as they come factually. And, there's no doubt about it that things went down, but it's just, the spin is a little inaccurate as to when and how. So stay tuned to these updates. That way you're getting the information in real time, month over month, and you can see what's been happening in the market, and you won't get sidetracked. Hope you found this information useful, and we'll catch you next month, hopefully a little bit closer to the first. All right, take care, guys.